Okay, dude, here we go. Let's see if I can explain this. All right, let me walk you through what we got here. This right here is the tower. Okay, this is ground level. All right, you got your mast pipe, which is inserted through the center. Okay. Basically, you've got your V rollers. This is the top plate. This is the second plate, which is mounted 4 feet down from the top. Okay. This is the sketchy part. It depends on how high you want to go. The height will be determined by how high this plate is, by how much of this post sticks out of the top when it's fully pulled up to here. Okay. This is not to scale. So top plate, bottom plate. All right. You got your V rollers, 2 V rollers, and how I would position these. So I would position a V roller, one on each side here, and then and then each one on the bottom plate on opposite sides. So it's encapsulated on 4 sides between the 2 plates. You see what I'm saying? Won't go anywhere. Okay. Okay, you got your 4-foot spacing. I'm going to get to this. Ignore this part. I'm going to get to this in the second one. Here's the complex part. All right. Ignore this right here. This is bogus. So basically, you've got an eye bolt. This is the eye bolt that comes through. You're going to have 2 eye bolts. Okay. This is what I'm counting on. You may have to modify this. You have an eye bolt through the bottom of the mast tube. Okay. As heavy as you can buy it, 1/2 inch if you can get it. Have him tack weld the eye closed after you put the pulley on, or before you put the cable on. I would buy a ferrule. What do they call that? Gimbal or something like that. You can buy them at like Home Depot or something like that. It's that U-shaped thing that the cable goes around, and then you insert that through the eye bolt, and it prevents the cable from crushing under tension on the eye bolt. I would definitely put one of those in. All right. So you get your eye bolt in the bottom of the mast. The cable goes up, and you're going to have to put in, what I'm thinking is put in an eye bolt. So you got the hole where the tube comes through. Put the eye bolt in with a pulley hanging on it right here. So when the cable comes up through from the winch, it goes straight down. You want this as straight as possible to the eye bolt. And this can be done on the ground, right? On the 5-foot section you put up there. So you can kind of assemble this on the ground level, and get it all specced out. See how. So I would do an eye bolt here with a pulley hanging on it. Cable comes up from the eye bolt through the pulley. Now this is the catch. You got to get the pulley inside. You got to get the cable inside the tower from the winch, which is on the outside of the tower. I'm counting on the fact that you could hang a pulley on one of those supports, one of those rungs of the tower, using a cable or a large locking threaded carabiner style clip, and that will run through that pulley and then down to the winch, which will be mounted on the side of the tower. Hopefully you get an idea for how that's going to go. Let me grab the second one. Okay. All right. This is not to scale. This gives you a picture of what I'm talking about. So you got your ground level, you got your tower, these 2 black lines of the tower, and you got your mast pipe in the center, right? So you got 11 feet of tower from here to here, and you're going to stick a 5-foot section up here, okay? Plug that onto the top. Now you've got your top plate and your second plate, which is going to be 4 feet down from the top. You said this is roughly 2 feet below deck. And here's the deck here. And there's a railing, which is probably, what, 3 feet tall, maybe something like that. Again, it's not to scale. Plate spacing, again, is 4 feet. Okay, you got a 10-foot 2-inch pipe. Comes down through. And you got a 5-foot section on the bottom. You got a seam right here. I would leave a 1/8 space. I would sleeve it with 1 7/8. I don't know if I'd go the full length, like put a 10-foot length of 1 7/8 in. It's going to become insanely heavy. It'll be really rigid, but I don't know if you need it, man. You could probably get away with a 5-foot section. So you put a 5-foot section of 1 7/8 in here, overlapping. Well, you could go ahead and do that, I suppose. Put a 10-foot length in. 10-foot length, sleeve it 1 7/8. It's going to be heavy, dude. If you did like 5 feet, let's say it would be 2.5 feet overlapping at the seam, each side of the seam. You could go 6 feet, cut 4 feet of the pipe off and go 6 feet, and that'll give you 3 feet overlap inside the 2-inch diameter pipe. Leave a 1/8 seam, weld the seam. The nice part I like about sleeving it with a 1 7/8 is when you put the eye bolt through at the bottom, you've got two pipes there, right? Tremendous. But dude, I don't think you're going to need that. I think that's freaking overkill. Excuse me. The seam is going to have to be welded and then ground down so it'll go through the rollers, right? You can do that with an angle grinder, no problem. If he's a good welder, he'll get that. And it doesn't have to be glass smooth, just round it over, you know what I mean? But you don't want it to catch as it's coming down. So that's how to deal with that. The top plate, of course, if you've got a 2-inch pipe, it's going to be 2 1/8 OD. So you're going to want 2 1/4, a 2 1/4 hole through the top plate and the bottom plate. Of course, your V rollers go on the plates. And here's the side view of the bottom plate. Okay, so your mass pipe comes through the center, and you have an eye bolt. Drill a hole through that plate and mount an eye bolt right here, and that has a pulley hanging on it, and that's going to be right here. Remember from the other drawing? The cable goes out to another pulley and then down to the winch. All right. Here's the catch. All right. What I'm thinking is you could, right here at the base of this pipe, you're going to have the eye bolt, remember? So let me go back to the other drawing quick. So right here you've got your eye bolt, right? So just above this eye bolt, punch a hole, take a piece of 1/2-inch rod, and send that right through the pipe. And I wouldn't make it more than 3 inches sticking out on each side. So cut it to about 6 inches. Have him tack weld it right in the pipe. So it's like a T. You know what I mean? It's going to be a piece of rod which sticks out like this. You can't have it on the side of the pulley, so it's going to have to go in the other way. And put it right above that eye bolt. So if you're to picture this, you're looking at the plate from the side. So you've got a T. As that pipe comes up, right? It's going to come up like that. That rod that you have sticking through there, you can have him weld or bolt some angle iron, like 3 inches of angle iron. There'd be 2 pieces on each side, okay? And make it a little bit more than a 1/2-inch space between the two, and put them on each side. So when it goes up, that rod locks into that channel that's there, and that'll keep that entire mass from turning. The other option, like I said, the reason why I didn't put it in the drawing, because I'm not sure which way to go, is to do a hitch pin system. Now, if you look at this, right, you've got your winch down here. Let me get to the other drawing. So this is something you'd have to figure out. Will that cable hold that up without pinning it? Sure it will. No doubt it will hold that up. No problem. If you're not sure, what you can do here's the issue. Let me get this. So if you look at where the winch would be mounted, right? Let's say the winch is mounted like right here at like eye level or something like that. And you're standing on the ground, right? The winch is mounted right here. How do you get a pin? The pin's going to have to go here or here. It's going to have to be like on an L bracket up against that tube. You see what I'm saying? And then you put the pin through. Or, oh my God, I just figured out how to do it. It's going to be a tube. This is the safe way to do it, and this is the easy way to do it. Okay. You know those hitch pins you buy at, I wouldn't use anything more than a 3/8. I would use a 3/8 hitch pin. I'd punch a 3/8 hole. I'd have this thing so it cranks all the way up, right? All the way up. So this will be butted up against this plate here. I would go ahead and install that little piece of 1/2-inch rod with a piece of channel that it'll lock into to keep it from turning. And at the top, so you'll be able to reach this easily from the railing. So at the top, what you do is you punch a hole through a flange, and you can even do it on the top so you don't have to reach in the tower. Put a flange right on the top. Of course, it can't go where the roller is, right? Put a flange on the top, maybe 2 on each side, and get yourself a long hitch pin. And when that thing's cranked up, just drill a hole through this pipe and just stick the hitch pin in it, and you're done. And release a little bit of tension on the winch if you want to. When you go to take it down, crank it, give it a little tweak, crank it up so it releases tension on the pin. Walk up, pull the pin out, and crank the tower down. That's the bomb-proof way to do it. That's accessible, but you're going to have to walk up the deck. You're going to have to go to 2 different places. That's the only way I can figure out how to put a pin in there, dude. So that would do it. So anyways, hopefully this does it for you. See, I just worked that out in my mind. So you may want to print these out and make an edit. And once you decide what to do with the pin, draw this in. Put in like a piece, and I would use like something heavy. 1/8-inch steel, if it's 2 of them, will do it. Take a 1/8-inch angle iron and weld those right to the top bracket on each side of this hole. And then punch a 3/8 hole right through the tube at that spot and through the L brackets, the angle iron, and then just bang. Just spank a hitch pin into it, man. It's easy. That's what I would do. It's just one more step. You're going to have to go up and go back down. You know what I'm saying? That's secure, and it will never fall. And that won't weaken it, man. A 3/8 hole through that tubing, not a chance in hell. So, yeah. Cool. Let me know what you think.